You have to become excellent at marketing and selling yourself. You have to become excellent in being a brand. You have to talk about yourself. You have to talk about your talents. You have to talk about your gifts. You have to talk about who you are, your values, what you stand for, what you have done, what you bring, what you can help people with. Yes, you have to look presentable. You have to look like you're actually up to something. You have to speak the way that somebody can trust you, that you trust yourself, that you trust your expertise. Okay, all of that is important if you say that you are a leader, if you say that you are divine, if you say that you have a mission, that you are purpose driven, that you're purpose led. All of that comes with a certain responsibility of being able to also convey that people want to follow you. And that is the true reality check, right? So today I want to talk to you about everything that I learned in order to be this authentic, to be this embodied, and to be this successful, right? I really have to let you know that everything that I am is not only natural, even though it is very natural, but it's also because I have learned to stay in that field, to stay in that energy of things feeling natural. All right? So, if you're new here, my name is Joana Fatondji. I am a certified transformational legacy life mastery consultant. And yes, that is truly a title that I didn't only give myself, but that I acquired. All right? And I really love the name. But I also want to tell you a little bit about my path here. And I consider myself a leader of the new world, a holistic and conscious leadership coach for the leaders of this new earth. All right. And not in some airy fairy new world that is somehow dissociated from reality. No, that happens in the real world, in industry, in organizations, in small businesses, and individuals. Okay. So, again, as I said, today I want to talk to you about a few things that I actually did to get here because I want to brag a little bit. I want to brag, and I also want to get it off my chest because I said it in another video that I have been to a networking event yesterday, and I truly realized that I am a very like I'm universally educated in the fields that I am interested in. And it's not just one thing that I do, but I'm truly a holistic legacy life mastery consultant. And what that means is as follows, okay? So I want to share with you, and hopefully you can see this video as me wanting to also build trust with you, okay? So the systems that I learned were from my mentor, certified transformational legacy life mastery consultant. I think these are some powerful words. So I want to let you know a little bit about what I do. The first thing, and I will continue to break it down like that, is ancient wisdom. Ancient wisdom. So what I mean by that is truly that I read things like the Kybalion, like universal laws like the law of thinking, the law of compensation, right? Universal laws that are also applicable to other beings, not just the human species, but also animals or nature, right? The ecosystem. But of course, also the human with the specialty of the human having a mind, right? The law of thinking, the universal principle of the mind is everything is mental. I have read this literature, and I have also read the Bible. I have read comparative studies of the Quran, of the Bhagavad Gita, of Christianity. I have read other books that are really heavily faith based, but applicable to business, right? Everything that is from the lineage of Napoleon Hill and Waddles, D. Waddles, spiritual business literature, but also other things like ancient future. Like I've also read things about like the Kabbalah. So many different ancient spiritual systems, okay? This is one part of my education as a certified legacy life mastery consultant. Another part is science, like really science in terms of the mind, like neuroscience, the mind body connection, mind body connection. Today we speak about that as the nervous system, right? The central nervous system, everything around how our thoughts create our feelings, how our feelings create our actions, and how our actions create our results, right? That is the result formula, very easy. Also behavioral science, right? Thoughts create like feelings or emotions. Emotions create actions. This is the behavioral science part. And then actions over time, repeated actions create results, right? And the results is the life that you see in your life, your body, your home, your relationships, your bank account, your career. All of that is the result of the way you think, feel, act. So that is another part of what I studied. And I didn't only study it on my own. Working with one of my teachers, because again, I'm certified, right? I'm certified. And again, I'm telling you this to build trust and also to brag a little bit, but not really. It's really about explaining what I bring so you can make an informed decision. If you watched another video of mine, it's about sales, and sales is about helping people make an informed decision. And I want to make you make a informed decision by me telling you what I actually bring to your life if you hire me as your life mastery consultant. So the science part is through my teachers. And one of my teachers, one of my personal mentors that I worked with over 4 years, she is part of the board of the Harvard Institute for Transformational Coaching, where they speak and continue to research on the mind-body connection, on the energy field, energy medicine, energetics, right? The energetics of certain things, speaking, auto suggestion, right? All of the things that influence the mind body connection, posture, brain waves, smiling, right? All of the ways thoughts and emotions create actions and results, the subconscious mind, right? Imprints, trauma, all of that is part of this part. I also like to call it the embodiment. Embodiment, right? Because it's good to learn all of that, right? But you have to embody the ancient wisdom, right? It's not only about the intellectual part, even though I'm very intellectual, but it's not only about that, right? Ancient wisdom, you can also say evolutionary evolutionary science, right? Evolutionary science. This is also, but this also ties in with that. Everything is interconnected. Evolutionary science is really about how our ancestors evolved, right? It was very scarce, life was hard, and people had to fight. Our brain is based on evolutionary science. The way our brain is looking for threats, right? The way our brain is looking for security all the time, that our brain wants to keep us safe. That's why our brain keeps telling us stories like, don't do that, that's a risk, you don't want to play with your life. But that is not necessarily beneficial for our spiritual evolution. Okay, good. And then the next thing that I speak about is systems, like systemic awareness, which all goes in together, right? Which all goes in together. Systemic awareness is, I always like to say, is a pyramid, is capitalism, patriarchy, and racism, because all of that also goes into power structures, power struggles, and understanding the world that we live in, right? We can come from ancient wisdom, which is amazing. Again, love it. I have an absolute geek self about me for that. I have a geek part of myself for that. All of the science. Also, for example, one thing I want to go back to, and probably I will go back to this again, the mind body connection. It's not only the mind, right? Evolutionary science, evolutionary neuroscience is about the mind and how our brain evolved, right? But the body, for example, I am a nutritionist as well, right? Not only a certified life mastery consultant, but also a medically approved nutritionist. Okay. So again, so you know that I'm not just speaking out my neck. I've learned this. And what I focus on with the body is gut health. Gut health, because the gut health is also interconnected with the nervous system, the autonomous, it's called autonomous. In German, it's called autonomous, automatic, autonomic. Yeah, that's it. I'm going to just call it that. I also speak about gut health because mind body connection is also gut brain connection. That is truly what it also says. Okay, and then the systemic awareness. I studied also international business. You probably can't see this here now, right? I studied international business. So I know a little bit about organizations. I worked in corporate, and I also know about systems awareness as a Black woman. Again, capitalism, patriarchy, and racism. And I bring all of that together. And again, as I said, I have studied all of these parts. And I have studied with the world's best, truly. International business. I've studied in Germany and I studied in France at a private school for international business. I have studied with one of Germany's lead doctors in nutrition, and she is a medically approved, like she is a doctor, but she has reoriented herself towards alternative and also more ancient medicine. So with her, I learned to focus on the gut microbiome as the central part of a reinvention of the body, if you want to call it that. And then I learned with the Life Mastery Institute to become a certified life mastery consultant with connections to Harvard, but also connections to the whole industry of personal development at its finest, if you want to say that. My teacher is called Mary Morrissey. She learned with like Les Brown and what's this other white guy's name? I don't know, like Louis Hay and all of them. Oh, what's this guy's name? I forgot. But Bob Proctor, but that's not what I wanted to say, but Bob Proctor. And I learned the universal principles and how to truly create results as, and that's my twist on it, as a Black woman or a woman of the global majority, understanding the system, right? And I wanted to share that with you because, as I said, there are so many topics that I could go into with you. But I also want to let you know that everything that I'm speaking about is truly profound. Not only have I practiced what I learned in corporate, but no, I am part of the top 20 of Miss Germany 2023. I have built a personal brand. I have been in the newspapers. I have been in media. I have spoken on panels, led panels. I have interviewed multimillionaires. I've been around celebrities. I have coached celebrities. I have coached business people. I have coached founders. I have coached actresses, dancers, artists. I have coached saleswomen. I have coached high caliber people. So all of that is under my belt. And as I said, I'm telling you that not only to brag, not only to give my CV here, right? But even that's what I'm doing, and that's fine. But also to let you know that that is an array of expertise and experience that I bring. So if you feel drawn to work with me, you now know what I got in my pocket. All right. Within the life mastery consulting, I also had like exquisite high level, high ticket sales training. So later on, I went into sales. As I said, I was in corporate. I went into sales and I sold over 10 million in revenue, or let's say helping my clients make that kind of money through my services. And also, my mentor is not only a psychologist or other mentors. I had a faculty of mentors: sales, marketing, energy medicine, ancient wisdom, transformational behavioral science, business, making money, right? All of that, personal branding, storytelling, all of that. I learned all of it, right? So this is everything that I learned. I am also teaching because I have done it for myself and I know how the system works, right? So all of the education of my mentors, they imparted that onto me, and that is what I impart onto my clients. But in order to create this deep, deep foundation, because it is deep, it's a deep, robust, truly solid foundation that I want to share with you. It has to be a longer investment, a longer time investment. My first program is 3 months. The next program is 6 months. And the next program is a year. Because you can already see, also, in order for you to create the life that you truly desire to live from the ground up, from the root up, a true transformation, a true reinvention is going to take some time, not because you're flawed. No, but because we want to do the things right. It's just like building a house on a solid foundation. And the foundation here is you, your mind, your body, right? And how actually to align everything that you're building with your soul's purpose. That is what I do. So I wanted to share that with you today because I am done playing small or hiding, but I'm also done of just throwing around these big words, but also let you in a little bit deeper into the profound education that I went through, whether it was the international business, the corporate, the business education, the formal, the theoretical, but also real life experience in corporate. But that's not the only thing that I bring. As I said, I studied a depth of intellectual parts of ancient wisdom, right? Reading books, like my whole room is full of books, old books, and also not only the ancient wisdom as a foundation of depth and orientation of values and ways how to go about life and find meaning, but also truly the scientific part from more of the Chinese energy medicine, which is one of my mentors' specialty, but then also the nervous system work, the behavioral science work, the mind body connection part, right? How to trust your body, how to recalibrate your body, how to regulate your body, and how to transmit the energy, because everybody also speaks about the law of attraction, right? The law of attraction is truly a secondary law next to the law of vibration. You first send out the signal, and the signal comes through your body, right? Through your energetic frequency. And then you attract what you're able to resonate in harmony with, right? All of these different sciences is part of my work, and the work that I do is so elegant, so easy to actually do. Not in terms of easy, I mean, you're definitely going to get challenged, gently challenged again and again, but the system, the proven, repeatable, reliable system that I work with has been tested by over thousands and thousands of people from all around the globe, from all cultures, from all backgrounds. And it has helped probably until this point over 100,000 people reach the results of their dreams, whether it is feeling good in your body, being confident in your skin, speaking the way you want to speak, but also making the money that you truly desire to live the life in the environment that you truly desire. If that's what's calling you, I invite you into my world. So stay tuned. Let me see if there's something else that I wanted to share with you. Yeah. So that's it for now. And again, if you feel called, because you're a leader, you are a force of nature, and I want to see you act like it. And acting like it is taking action. So click one of the links down in the description box down below. Book a one-on-one call with me, book a aligned level up consultation call. Let's see if we're a good fit to work together. Then let's see which program suits you best for your next level, for your next money move, right? For your next evolutionary step. Join my membership. I'm looking forward to see you in the next one. Bye-bye.